Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast here in Australia on this beautiful morning here. We're getting ready for another weather event. We're going to get some rain this time just for a change. We've had bushfires, we've had droughts, we've had just about everything. So I hope wherever your little part of the world is that you're feeling happy and blessed and really sort of excited to see what the next week is going to bring. I know that there's so much doom and gloom out there at the moment with the coronavirus and everything else, and I'm not underplaying that. That is really a very, very serious event that's gripping the world at the moment in a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear. But I'd like to sort of try and put some positivity into the next half an hour for you and bring some sunshine into your life, because I think we all could do with a little bit of positivity and a little bit of brightness in our life to sort of say we can just exhale and just enjoy the next 30 minutes. So that leads me to the Secrets of Tarot card of the week this week, which is actually the Sun. And I thought this was a really positive start. When I drew that card this morning, I thought, isn't this amazing? It's exactly how I want to take the show this week, to bring some bright, positive sunshine into our lives and sort of say that we've all got something really positive to look forward to over the next 7 days. The Sun card is the card of marriage. Now, when we use the word marriage in tarot, we do actually mean that legal thing that, you know, people used to go to a church or go to a registry office or, you know, down to the city hall or whatever and actually get married. That's what it means. It's not the modern version of let's just sort of live together or let's have a hand fasting ceremony. It does actually mean marriage. It can also, the secondary meaning of this card is happiness and bright prospects. And I think we can all look forward to a little bit of happiness this week and hopefully some bright prospects as life starts to unfold in a direction that we want it to, that we've all been working hard towards this year, into bringing some more positivity into our lives in a way that we can sort of start to share the rewards that's happening this week also. So it's a very, very interesting week astrologically. I think we'll move into that next. We still have Mercury, the planet of communication, going retrograde or backwards at the moment. And I don't know about you, but I've had my fair share of Mercury playing his little fun games. And it's interesting when you don't have the internet for a couple of days, how you realise that how much of your day-to-day life focuses around the internet. And I didn't have it for a couple of days last week. You would have thought somebody had cut both my arms off. I really did feel quite isolated from the rest of the world because everything I went to do involved the internet and I couldn't do that. And that's one of the things that Mercury retrogrades can do. It interferes with our forms of communication. It's times when our computers break down, we have internet problems, our phone doesn't work, our iPad or our tablet or whatever decides to go and have a holiday somewhere else. And it's also the time when people don't have their listening ears on, and it's not the perfect time to sign a contract if you can get away with it, and it's not the time to go and ask the boss for a rise if you can help it. So on the good news of Mercury retrograde is Mercury has only got a bit over a week. It actually officially ends on March 14. Now, I'm saying March 14 because that is when Mercury is actually direct, not stationary, not retrograde, not anything. He is actually moving forward. And that's what I like to see, when we can clearly say everything's sort of moving the way that it should. Now, that's Mercury. Now, we still have a plethora of other planets sitting in Pisces at the moment, but the next two are the ones that I really want to focus on this week, because this is what I think is really influencing a lot of us around the world, no matter what your star sign is. We've got the Sun, which is meaning that it's the Pisces time of the year, which is always an amazing time of the year, I feel anyway. It's the time when we can all start to get our creative hats out. We can start to sort of be a little bit dreamy, sort of do a bit of daydreaming, sort of just take a little bit of a breath, that we got the year off to a flying start, and we've had so many things to focus on and think about and whatever. And this is just the time where we can catch our breath. And because it is the last sign of the zodiac, it is officially coming towards the end of the astrology year. When we see the Sun moving into Pisces, it's sort of like that. It's like our December, if you want to look at it that way, where we sort of start to wind down, have a little bit of a rest, gather our thoughts, our momentum again, ready for the fresh new year that will start with the sign of Aries. So I always look at this time as a time where, yes, Mercury's retrograde, so we need to slow down anyway and look at where we're going and, do a little bit of introspective thinking anyway about our lives. But I think it's also a time when we should get some more music out, put some music on the turntable or whatever your modern device is equivalent to that today. Watch a few movies. Lose yourself in the mystery and the romance of, a day gone by, a bygone era. Now, Mercury, yes, is in Pisces, but he's in the very early degrees of Pisces, where the sun is holding hands with the planet Neptune. Now, they're only a couple of degrees apart. Well, when I say holding hands, in astrological terms, that means they're conjunct. But for lay people, if I say to you, the sun's holding hand with Neptune, you sort of get an idea that they're sort of sitting pretty close together and they've got a close relationship. Now, Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces. So this, again, to me, emphasises this creative, watery, dreamy time where we can sort of daydream, we can fantasize about the things that we want. We can maybe go back and watch an old movie and really enjoy it, or go back and watch an old sitcom like I've been doing. I've been enjoying Mr. Ed, the Talking Horse recently, and it made me sort of realise that, it was a much simpler life when we were children, and that, we know horses don't talk, but gee, it's entertaining to see a show where there's no violence, there's no sexual references, it's just good, clean fun, and it's well shot, well lit, and the scripts are just to die for. So that's my little bit of indulgence this week. We also have other planets that I think we need to talk about, and that's Venus, the planet of love and affection, is also holding hands or conjunct Uranus. We all know that Uranus is the planet of the unusual and unexpected happenings. So it's sort of saying to us that, and it's in Taurus, those of you that might be seeking love or looking to get into a new relationship, maybe it could come in very unusually. It could be somebody that's going to catch your eye that is completely different to the type of person that you've ever seen yourself with before. So just keep your eyes out. If you're single, this could be the perfect time over the next couple of weeks of you to meet somebody that's strikingly very different to the type of relationship that you're normally used to attracting. So maybe this is what you need to do, is focus on something different. Now, I know the word on everybody's lips is the coronavirus this week, and I don't really want to focus on that, but I do want to take you for a little trip into Capricorn, which is where I feel a lot of the influence of that is coming from. And we actually have 3 planets that are holding hands at the moment. Jupiter, the planet of opportunity and expansion, is holding hands with Pluto, the planet of transformation, who is holding hands with Saturn, the planet of discipline. So I'm sort of looking at this, and I'm trying to be incredibly positive with this sitting in Capricorn, is to sort of say that maybe, just maybe, we're going to get a positive breakthrough in some way of how we deal with this virus worldwide. Maybe there's going to be somebody that's going to have a light bulb moment that says, hang on a minute, maybe I've got the answer to a vaccine, or maybe we're approaching this in the wrong way. Maybe we need to do this instead of that. Let's just err on the side of positivity, that with Jupiter here heading up the train of planets, that Jupiter's going to bring something out of nowhere. Jupiter's going to be that lucky break that we need dealing with this virus worldwide. So that's my hope for this week on that. So we're going to move to the candle of the week. So obviously the candle of the week this week is going to be our Pisces candle. It's the water sign candle, because we are in the water sign time of the year. So this is the time where I think if you're going to work with the Pisces candle, you start to write your dreams or your daydreams down of things that you would like to happen coming into your life. And again, burning on a 7-day cycle. I always like to do my candles on a 7-day cycle. I just feel it adds to the momentum of what we're trying to achieve by using and working with a candle of that magnitude. And I burn my candles between 15 minutes to 2 hours a day. So depending on how much time you've got to sit and babysit your candle, you never leave a candle unattended, because they are flame at the end of the day. And we wouldn't want to have an accident sort of causing, some fire to be created in your home. For those of you that want to work with a smaller set, this week I've made up a set with good luck, the water sign candle indicating Pisces, and also the candle of healing. I thought that was rather appropriate this week, because we're all trying to send some healing energy out into the world, to world events, not just the coronavirus, but for all the weather events and tornadoes that happened overnight in Tennessee. So all these sort of situations, we need to be sending group healing and group hug for everybody in the world that's affected by a weather event at the moment. So we're now going to take our first call, which is Lexus in Indianapolis. Are you there, Indiana? Are you there, Lexus?
Hello.
Hi, Lexus. Do you have a question
Hello?
I can work with, sweetie?
Hi. I've never done this before, so I'm not really sure how it works.
I like to work with a direct question, sweetie. You must have something that you want answered, that, you know, a direction in your life or something like that.
Is this like about talking to like loved ones and stuff?
I don't try and do that in the very limited time we've got on this segment in the show. I prefer to work with a direct question of something that relates to you in your current life, something that you need an answer to.
Well, is it like tarot card readings or
Yeah, and it's like if you've got an issue with, you know, should I change my job, or is it time for me to sell the house, something along those sort of lines, because you've got to appreciate we don't have a direct dial link to the other side to just dial up whoever's passed over that you might want to have a conversation with, you know, and most times they're always around us anyway, and they're really not interested in the fact that whether you need to sell the house, you know, like they're more interested in making sure that you're happy and that you're, you know, settled in your life. You know, they're not interested so much into our day-to-day life, more so as they are in our emotional well-being. So is there changes that you've got coming up in your life over the next few months, things that you've been actively working on since about October last year? That's what they're showing me.
Since October last year?
Yes.
I've been having like problems in my marriage.
Okay. But did that really sort of come to a head in your mind from about October last year, that this was really becoming a serious issue, that you really needed to sort of sit down and give this a lot more thought, a lot more energy to see where it's going and what to do about it?
Well, my husband and I were split up for a few months, and we actually just started working on stuff again in October.
Good. So do you sort of feel positive that you've had some breakthroughs there, that some of the issues that brought the marriage to a sort of temporary halt, that we're addressing those now in a very honest, sort of grown-up way?
I feel like I'm doing my part, but he's not doing his.
Right. But do you think he's really aware of how serious this is? Do you sometimes people don't quite understand the magnitude of what's actually happening. I just sort of feel with him, it's like he doesn't fully understand what you're saying. You know, he says yes, yes, yes.
I don't think he does.
But doesn't really understand it, like doesn't know how to approach it to make it better.
Right.
I'm not giving him a free pass. I want to be very clear on that. I just want to help you understand that just because you fully understand the issues and the situations that have brought this marriage to a halt, is that he's not maybe seeing it quite as clearly as you are. So therefore, maybe we've got to approach this in a different way so that we can sort of get some answers out of this. You know, like I still feel there's too much in this marriage to throw it out the window yet. I just wouldn't be sort of ready to call it a day yet. I think, you know, we've still got opportunities here to improve this and to get this marriage back on track in a stronger, better direction than what it was before. And then the two of you will be able to sort of move forward and make other decisions and choices in your life. Okay, well, that's where we're going to leave Lexus now, because we're going to go to Shaquina in Starksville, Mississippi. Are you there, Shaquina? What a beautiful name.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
What a lovely name you have.
Thank you.
So how can I help you tonight, sweetie?
Well, I was just wondering, my question is, well, like I have recently had my fifth miscarriage.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I was just, yeah, Yes, ma'am. It's a heartache. It's a struggle every time I get let down.
Of course.
So, yes, ma'am. And I was just I was wondering, will I ever have a successful pregnancy or be able to bring a baby home?
Darling, look, my heart goes out to you, and it's always a very difficult thing when we lose a baby, and we always question whether or not there was something we could have done differently. Was it our fault? Was it whatever? I mean, there's a million and one reasons why we don't carry a baby, past a certain point. What I'm being shown is that this wasn't in any way your fault. So I think that's the first thing that you need to let go of. There was nothing you could have done differently that would have given us a different result. For whatever reason, that little one wasn't meant to sort of take breath on the earth this incarnation. They've gone on to angel status, and that's the way I want you to look at that, and sort of feel very proud that you were chosen to bring a new angel through. If you can look at it that way, I think then you can take out of your pain a little bit something positive. Now, they are showing me that there will be 2 children. So, and I'm not saying 2 pregnancies you've already had. I'm saying 2 children that you will bring home that you will nurse in your arms. That's what I'm seeing. So you don't have any yet?
I have 2 children. I have a 16-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl.
Right. Well, then, darling, I don't know that there's going to be any more babies.
Ma'am? I know that
mightn't be what you... Yeah, I know that mightn't be what you want to hear, but they only showed me 2 babies that you nursed in your arms. And if you've already had those 2 babies, I'm not sure that there's any more, sweetheart.
Oh.
And I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's all they showed me was 2 babies that you rocked in your arms, and you're sharing with us that you've already had those 2 children. I don't feel there's 2 more to come.
Oh, Lord.
So maybe you've got to... Look, nothing is ever set in concrete. I want to be very clear on that. I just sort of feel for the moment, I think you need to sort of try and put your focus onto something else, to look at something that's positive in your life that you can sort of focus on, that you can feel a sense of satisfaction and joy out of. And the fact that you've got 2 older children, maybe that's where your focus needs to be, that they really need you, that you can sort of show them, teach them skills, tools to take on to their adult life that maybe you wouldn't have been able to share with them if you had the blessing of another little baby to take care of who would obviously monopolise more of your time. So maybe we need to shift the focus back on the 2 children that you've already got. I know you've got an incredibly big heart, and I know that you felt that maybe you were meant to mother another child, but maybe that's going to be in a different sort of role. Sometimes we don't always have to be the one to give birth to another child. Maybe your role's going to be moving on and helping underprivileged children, or helping children in need that guiding light that you can give. I just know that you've got an incredibly big heart, and as much as it's been sad that you've lost this one, I just don't feel that it was meant to be, sweetheart. They were just showing me that they'd already gone on to that angel status, and that's really something very, very special. So I hope that's helped you, Shaquina, because I know that you've got a lot more to do with your life over the coming years, and your daughter has got a really creative sort of musical sort of flair around her that I think is going to come to the forefront in the next 6 to 12 months, and that's going to take up a lot of your time. She's quite demanding in a positive sort of way, where your son is sort of a little bit more, not so much studious, but a little bit quieter than his sister, shall we say. So I think you've got a lot of things to look forward to. I think it's just a different direction to what you had thought would be your future.
Okay.
So I hope that's helped you, sweetheart.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I understand what you said. So basically you said that I would never ever have any more children.
Well, what they showed me was there was only 2 babies in arms, and you've already given birth to those 2 babies. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying when I asked them about how many children you would rock in your arms, they only showed me 2.
Okay.
But as I said, nothing is set in concrete. You know, we always have the right to change what we're given as a possibility. But, you know, when they show me something like that, that usually pretty much says it all. Do you know what I mean? When I ask how many babies there's going to be, and, you know, they only showed me 2 that you were rocking in your arms to sleep, and, you know, your 2 babies are nearing teenage years now, I'm not saying that you can't have another baby. I'm just saying it's highly unlikely, sweetheart.
It's probably what?
I said it's highly unlikely that you'll give birth to another child.
Do you see a reason behind it?
Darling, I can't answer what the reason behind it is. I mean, we all have a path that I believe is preset for us before we take our first breath. And where our free will comes in is whether we turn right or we turn left when we get to the intersection. And, you know, I think we're already all predetermined how many babies we're going to have, how many miscarriages we're going to have before we draw breath. So whether you want to put that label down to God's plan or someone else's plan, that's entirely your belief system. It's not for me to sort of say it's a particular labelled plan. Just that I know from all the work that I've done over the years that our lives are mapped out for us, and what's meant to be will be, regardless of what we think or what we want.
Okay.
Okay, my sweet, that's where we're going to leave it. So it's really, really interesting when we have situations like this that arise in our lives where we sort of believe that our life is going to take one direction, and fate, destiny, God, whoever you believe in, starts to take our path on a different road. And sometimes that can be a bitter pill to swallow, particularly emotionally, when we believe in our heart of hearts that this is the way things are meant to be. And for all my years in astrology, one of the things that it's taught me is that our lives are mapped out for us. It's just a matter of us joining the dots and, I suppose, taking the direction that feels technically right to us at the time. And I know many, many times over the years, even looking at my own personal astrology chart, I didn't quite understand in which way things were going to unfold until after the event had happened. You can sit there and you can analyse and you can look at the house position and you can look at the planets and you can look at the energy and know the knowledge that you know and sort of think, well, it could be this and it could be that and it could go that way, and if I handle it this way, we should, you know, head that off at the pass. What can I say on that other than what's meant to happen will happen regardless of what we do or the actions that we take? And many, many, many years ago, I thought that I'd headed off a major thing in my chart where I thought that I had done everything astrologically that I was asked to do. And then all of a sudden, within only 24, 48 hours before this major transit passing out of my life, the event happened and my office burnt down. And it was something that I thought that I had taken every step to prevent the massive change that I could see coming up in my life. So even when we have all the wisdom and we have all the answers, we don't necessarily always able to minimise what is meant to be, because if our lives are meant to take a different direction, they will. And, you know, it sometimes isn't about the knowledge and the wisdom that we have. It's just meant to be. And that's why I call it destiny or fate, because no matter what we do, it is going to happen anyway. It is out of our control. And at the time, we can't see why these things happen. All as we know is the pain, the suffering, the loss, what we experience as being human. And it's only much further down the track do we see the lesson or the reasons why life took us in that direction. Had that not happened, then another door wouldn't have opened in a different way. So all as I can say to Shaquina is that, you know, there is a path that will open up for you, and it will be maybe different to what you expected. And whether you're in the same situation as Shaquina or you're dealing with something else in your life, whether there's been a change or a direction shift that you weren't expecting, just embrace it, go with it, take it hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day. Don't try and make any long-range plans. Just be like a log floating down a river and go whichever way the river twists and turns and takes you, and you will make the journey a lot easier on yourself. That's my words of wisdom for this week on situations like that. If you can't control it, just enjoy the ride, because you can't change what is actually destined, what is your destiny, what is your fate will happen regardless of the choices and the decisions that we make. It took me a long time to understand that, because I'm one of those people that believed that we were in control of our own destiny, and if you really wanted something badly enough, you could make it happen. But I've learnt the hard way over the years that there is a higher force, a much more powerful force than me, and just because I wanted my life to be a certain way, it wasn't the way that was destined for me. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you understand a little bit more about why your life is unfolding in the way that it is. Just embrace it, enjoy it, and until next week, be kind to each other. And I'm going to leave you with my favourite David Cassidy song this week, Could It Be Forever. Bye for now.